When I first started, when I really started getting into content creation, I really thought I was doing something. But I wish somebody had grabbed me by my shoulders early on and told me, told me this. Basically, content isn't your business. But because I didn't have that mentor, I didn't have that person that could walk me through, nobody did that. I had to lose money, lose time, and lose my motivation to figure it out on my own. Like I was burnt. I didn't want to, I was at the point where I didn't want to do it. And I'll be the first to say that, man. Like I really didn't want to do this content creation thing anymore. See, at that time I was posted every single day. Man, I was doing reels, I was doing carousels, episode every week. I was grinding out, you know what I'm saying? I was picking up followers. And this is like my third try at this podcasting thing. I started getting the engagement, but I still didn't have a business. And it's not because I wasn't working hard enough. See, I didn't have a content problem. That's a currency problem. Content was the megaphone. Content was what I was elevating out to the masses. What I didn't have was a system standing behind the product that I was putting forth. And I didn't realize that. See, I became what a lot of people tend to think that they're not. I became a very loud, vocal individual, but I had no revenue. I wasn't making no money. And I wish I had known this years ago. So what I want to do is I want to help you get to the point where you don't do what I did. All right. You don't lose time. You don't lose revenue. You don't spend a lot of money. So I need you to sit down. I need you to just take a few seconds out of your day today. 15 minutes. I'm asking for 15 minutes because it's about to save you on the years that it took for me, all right, to learn what I'm going to give to you today. Let's rock out. Let's get it.
Welcome to Podcast for Profit, the show where podcasters become CEOs. I'm your host, Tony Porter, and every week I'm giving you the strategy, systems, and game you need to grow your audience, monetize your message, and build a seven-figure podcast business. No fluff, no cap, just real results. Let's get into it.
Hey, yo, what's going on, fam? Welcome back to Podcast for Profits, the show where we stop trading time for likes and start turning your conversations into currency. Now, if you don't know who I am by now, or if you're new to the channel, I'm your host, Mr. Tony Porter, your podcast, monetization strategist, and business coach. Now, today we're diving into why content isn't your business. So again, today we're going to dive into why content isn't your business. But before we start, I want to tap in with you. If you're a coach, a consultant, a service provider, a content creator, a podcaster, and you're tired of podcasting into the void, because see, I feel like every podcast or every business should have a podcast. But if you're tired of podcasting into that void and you're ready to start generating real clients and start generating some real revenue, pay attention. Because see, the strategies that we're going to go through today, we're going to break them down because they're just not theory. All right. We want to make sure that you understand. We're going to break down the exact strategies, the exact frameworks used to help my clients, my people, and used by the top 1%ers that turned their podcast into a thriving, multi-figure business. Now, I'm not going to guarantee you anything because what we're telling you, what we're going to show you today, what I'm going to put out here for you, it doesn't just work if you sit on the content. You have to put in the work in order for a business to be successful. And that's why a lot of businesses have failed over the years. A lot of people haven't evolved. A lot of people don't want to evolve. It's a new era. Content is not your business, but it's the megaphone to draw in your business, okay? So here's what we're going to cover today. See, most creators are out here confusing other people, and they're confusing other people with being seen with being paid. And I'm going to show you the gap between the two. See, why chasing content volume is keeping you dead broke, keeping you in that poverty circle, keeping you every time you go and pop open your bank statement, your account, there's nothing there. You're putting out episodes. There's nothing coming in. All right. That's what's keeping you broke. And then I want to actually show you what actually has to sit underneath your content for it to turn into major cash flow. So if you're ready, grab your pen, piece of paper, get you something to drink, grab you something to eat. Listen, silence your computer, turn off all devices. All right. Kiss your wife, kiss your kids, tell them to give you some time, or kiss your husband, kiss your kids, kiss your loved ones, mother, father. It doesn't make a difference. Significant other. Put it that way. We don't want to segregate nobody. So just kiss your significant other, and tell your kids you love them. Tell them we'll see you in a second. All right, just give me 15 minutes. All right. So we're gonna lock in. And when we lock in, we're gonna make sure that we get this to the point that you understand. Okay. So let's start here. Have you ever been sitting around and you just randomly recorded, you hit publish on something, felt that little rush, like you recorded your episode, recorded a video, recorded an audio clip, you hit publish and you felt a little rush, but because you were so anxious, an hour later, you checked your bank account thinking, I know this is going to be the one. Get 4,000-5,000 views, 1 million views, going viral, money going to be in the account. See, that's the misconception everybody's been taught and nobody wants to understand. But when you check, nothing changed. When you looked, it still says zeros. Yeah, I've been there. I did that. Boy, I'm telling you, I did that the first time I ever recorded. I was so excited because I thought the content that I had was immaculate. And I just didn't do it once. I did it a lot. And here's what I wish somebody had told me back then. Because, see, I learned to do things by coaching high school defense. 14 years. High school football. Defense side of the ball. Might have been on the offensive side, just helping out. And what you had to understand is everything that you do in life resonates back over to what you're doing right now in your business. See, we didn't win on Friday nights because we had the flashiest play calls. No, we didn't. We won because of everything nobody saw. The checks, the adjustments, the film study. Wednesday nights, nobody was clapping for what we was doing. The play call content, man, listen, the system behind it is just like a business. And I bought that same exact framework into my building a podcast for profits. Except I learned the hard way. See, everything I did early off into this game was cool. It was fine. It was straight, Wasn't nothing to be bragging about, honestly. I mean, I thought I did well. I had some download numbers. That was pretty good. Nice comments in the inbox, things like that, man. But guess what? I still wasn't able to walk away from my job. I was broke because I didn't build anything for those people to actually walk into. So here's the thing I need you to really sit with. Content alone has one job, and that's to start a conversation. You have to start a conversation with your content. That's it. It was never built to close deals on its own. If you're out here expecting your reels to do the job of a sales team, that's the disconnect. That's where you're going to fail. That's where you're going to lose everything. You're asking a megaphone to do a closer's job. And look, this is exactly why I had started Podcast for Profits channel. See, the very first thing we built with people isn't more content. It was the thing that catches the people your content already brought in the door. Here's where it gets just a tad bit tricky, a little bit uncomfortable. Because even when you're doing everything you feel like you're doing right? Did you hear that? Everything that you're doing right? Most of you are still losing money at the very next step. So if you want me to show you what I mean, don't worry about it. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand. I'm just going to do it. All right? So I got this friend. Name is Dre. All right? And you're going to hear me talk about Dre a lot because Dre is at the point where his content is really elevating. His business as a fragrance influencer is taking off. He's solid. Everything he does is on point. He's got over, I want to say 50 to 60 live streams, a couple hundred reels. And I asked a simple question, like, Dre, what happens after someone finishes listening to your content? He paused. He looked at me, and with the smoothest voice. Listen, he's probably 6'2", 6'3". I'm 5'10". So I still got to look up at him, right? And with the smoothest voice, he said, "Is that a trick question?" So I'm laughing because he doesn't understand, or he didn't understand at the time. And the honest answer was, nothing happened. He was just stuck. Like, he's showing you exactly what's next, but he's not inviting you in. So there was no next step, no offer, no path forward. He had the audience. Listen to me. He's building an audience quietly, as quiet as it's kept, but he had no fun. That right there, that was the leak in the yacht Because we always talk about when we get to this point, we want to make sure that we got the engine, the yacht, the yacht master, the Bugattis, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis. That's what our businesses are called, not the cars that we want. We're smarter than that. But that was the leak. That's money walking right past you every single week that you post them. So here was the fix. And it was simple. And I'm telling you, when we did it, it was simpler for him to be like, I didn't realize that. See, every time you do a live stream, at the end of your live stream, every time you do a video, at the end of your video, you need a clear next step. You don't need 500 links. You don't need a bunch of claps and recognitions and all that. You don't have to do no viral dancing, even though it's fun for him because he's a young cat. He doesn't need a link in bio and hope somebody scrolls hard enough to find it. All he needed was one specific low function move that gets them one step closer to working with him. And that's the same thing with you. It gets you them one step closer to working with you. That's literally what we call a client generating blueprint does. See, it builds the next step every single time you upload a video, upload some content, whether it's audio, video. And when we started this, we was making sure you understood this on Podcast for Profits YouTube channel. Because guess what? That's where you work at. We wanted to give it to you for free. Now, once you plugged in the leak, and once he did, there's one more shift. And honestly, this might be the biggest one. And so when we chop it up, because we talk regularly, you have to start showing up for your business as a business owner first and not a content creator. That has to be second. I know that sounds backwards in this world, for me to be telling you this. You can post more, but ask yourself honestly, does your content calendar get more of your attention than your sales pipeline does? And if that's the case, then you're working backwards. Because see, when I decided and figured it out after my mentor set me down and I'm looking at this, I'm like, for me, my building the business, I had to make that call. I stopped measuring my week by how much I created and started measuring it by how many real conversations I was having with people. I mean, people who could actually become clients. The one shift changed my revenue income faster than anything was my hook formula. I just sat there, I was like, I'm blown away because I was so bullheaded thinking that I knew everything. So what I had to do is I had to realize once my mentor was like, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. All right. So what you need to do is you need to block time every week that has nothing to do with making content and everything to do with converting, outreach, follow-up, discovery, triage, all type of calls. See, that's the block to the boardroom move right there. That's what I had to figure out. And so just like now, Podcast for Profits is my podcast. But what I want you to get ready for is next block creators. Because the AI movement is here. Networks are fading out some shows. If you pay attention, just pay attention. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Some of your top shows are being weeded out for stuff that you would never watch. But what if you became the media person? And that's what we're going to be teaching over on the next block. See, the block to the boardroom is here, but the next block, yeah, that next block's going to be powerful. That's going to be potent right there. So understand what I'm telling you. The engine is here. It's not a content calendar. It's the system that I am putting together that tells you what exactly to spend your energy on each week. So your content, your podcast, your videos, stop being a hobby and start being a tool for your closing. Again, Dre's one of the people that I work with. When he made the shift, it was a beautiful thing for him, man. He sits back now and he's counting his days. It's all because of a system. And here's what's crazy. I call it the client generating podcast blueprint because, again, I feel like every business needs a podcast. But you can use it in your video creation. You can use it in everything that you do. You just have to understand and let it work for you like it's clockwork. So let me leave you with this. All right. Content isn't your business. Content is the doorbell. You can ring it all day, but if nobody's home, no system, no offer, and no follow-up, it doesn't matter how loud you make it. So if what I just said has hit you a little different, hit you in the ribs, hit you in the chest, and you want to get a little deeper, subscribe to the channel because we're going to start adding more content to help you. All right. Grab the client generating podcast blueprint. Again, it's free. This podcast is to help educate you on the processes of becoming a business through your content, through your podcast, and through other channels that you could possibly ask for. So that's where we're at. That is the bit that's the beauty of what we're doing. All right. So take your time, understand what we're doing. Now look, content will get seen, but systems is how we get paid. I wish somebody had told me this sooner, and I wouldn't have wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of money. So now I'm telling you, go build a system, because over here we turn conversations into currency. Now I need you to do me a favor and go turn yours into your currency. I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all, man. We out of here. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to Podcast for Profit. If you got value today, share this episode with a creator who's ready to level up. And make sure you hit follow so you never miss the moves we're making. If you're serious about turning your podcast into a business,